Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It's an absolute privilege and honor to have the senior minister today with us. Thank you so very much for taking out the time. We also have other members from government, some similar faces. Welcome to UMT. Thank you so very much everyone for attending today's event. The youth and future of Pakistan, our deans, professors, policy analysts, sponsors. It could not have been possible without all of you here today. So thank you so very much for your participation. I once read a study which said it came out of the University of Chicago. It said if Pakistan does not take the right step, the average life expectancy of a Pakistani will decrease by 4 years. And this study came out of the University of Chicago. And they also said that if you take the right measures, your average life expectancy will increase by up to 8 years. So with the recent steps taken by the government of Punjab, I am confident that maybe 2 years have so far been increased. The last year, whatever measures have been visible, we have seen. So we all acknowledge it, and it's visible on the roads and on the streets. UMT's purpose is to bridge government, industry, and academia. So academia produces talent, it has knowledge, it has research. Government creates policy, it creates that environment, and industry creates products and services. So unless they come together, like we are here today, we've all come here today. So unless we come together, Pakistan cannot succeed, and we cannot have sustainable progress, because academia needs to be hand in hand with the government needs to be hand in hand with the industry, and only then Pakistan can progress. So this event, I'm sure inshallah, will play a great role in forming that triple helix model to take Pakistan forward. And I also gave this assurance to the senior minister that UMT is ready to complement the government's vision in any way possible, in policy, is doing any research study in environment, in disaster management, in climate resilience, in artificial intelligence. We have about 40 professors in artificial intelligence or data science. Anything that is needed, we are here to assist. And data is something which we don't have, but data is something that we need. I remember when we were in government, we had no idea what was the source of all this smog. And there was a study which said 88% of your contributor is transport. And I fortunately or unfortunately was at that time looking at transport. And then it was also disclosed that 2/3 of your transport emissions come from 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers. So all we could do at that time was to tighten the administration. But whatever measures have been taken now are, I think, a game changer, and they have shown results. We can see this year there is no smog, and we obviously, I think it deserves a round of applause that whatever measures were taken are visible. And I remember the transport department, I asked them, how do you check vehicle emissions? And they said, we have the most state-of-the-art equipment. And I asked them, how many devices? They said, sir, 2, one is working, one is not working. So we had to do a crackdown. We had no staff on ground. The whole department had 7 people in Lahore. I'm sure we now have more in maybe a town now. We have 700 or 7,000 people on board now. So I went and drove to Kasur once, because they said the heavy traffic enters the big city during the night, and the trucks and the lorries, they produce the most emissions. And I went to that picket, that Naka, and I asked the person, how do you check the vehicle emissions? And they said, we have a state-of-the-art camera. It has 256 megapixels. And I was very curious. I wanted to know what is it. And they said, sir, we asked the driver to give the race, and we go and check at the back if the smoke is black. So our eyes can see it. If the smoke is black, that means the vehicle is passing emissions. So this was the state. And once we had no idea, to be honest. And once we had a big lockdown, section 144, did everything, industry closed, schools closed, and then someone presented the AQI, and it was sky high. And we asked them what had happened, and they said, sir, the wind has started to blow west from India, and in India there was Diwali last week, so all their smog has entered Lahore. So it's very tricky, and I think it requires a shared effort, and it requires collaborative effort, industry, academia, government coming together. And so we've whatever initiatives we've seen, we hope and pray that they last, they are sustainable, they are already showing results. We did not even have any accurate measurement. So once in a meeting they showed that AQI was 250, and we placed a sensor at UMT and it showed 550. So there was variance, and I was told and would love to know how many AQI sensors we have now, what sort of equipment. We only had 2 months, so November was smog, and then there was a change in government, and also rain plays a big part. So this was in one of the meetings. It was discussed that it hadn't rained for about 2 months, and the AQI was going really high. And then it was suggested, I had lived in Dubai back in 2013, so I knew that in Dubai they did cloud seeding, and I suggested this, and then we spoke to the UAE government, and they sent a plane and did not charge us anything. We only gave them housing for the pilots, and there was the first rain through cloud seeding. So it requires an international effort also. We need to build partnerships with international entities, with everyone, each and everyone in civil society. So I won't take much time, and would love to hear what the senior minister has to share, what all has been done. I haven't been keeping track, but we can see the difference in the air today, and we wish you good luck, and thank you so very much for taking out the time.